In the past year, hundreds of elderly people visited emergency departments in the United States due to something much more preventable than disease or unexpected infirmity. Residences that lacked functional systems. Take a moment to consider that. Age was not the cause of such wounds. Everyday pandemonium prevailed. A messy floor without a mechanism to make the root clear. Medication is dispersed throughout several locations with no systematic method for monitoring it. Kitchens full with bulky pots and pans without any safer substitutes. Time catching up did not cause these incidents. They were mishaps brought on by malfunctioning systems. And most people never hear the shocking truth. Your years don't necessarily make life harder after you're 60. When the systems in your home don't work for you, it gets harder. Now, picture this. You wake up knowing that everything has its place, its rhythm, and its flow, as opposed to a day full of minor annoyances, like fumbling for keys, stumbling over cords, or hunting for documents. You are no longer at odds with your house. You are allowing it to benefit you. Because the structure around you is built to provide you with freedom rather than worry, daily life suddenly feels simpler, safer, and even happier. And this is where I would want to extend an early invitation to you. Click like and subscribe now if you want your house to start working for you rather than against you. I'm going to share systems in this video that most people don't consider, but after you implement them, you'll question how you ever managed without them. Calvina Moore, a former postmaster from a small Kentucky town, is 68 years old. She also believed in order for the majority of her life. Every parcel had a destination, and every letter had a route at the post office, and she based her career on sensible system. However, Calvina believed that downsizing would be the most significant step towards tranquility when retirement came. She decided that fewer rooms would mean fewer issues. So she sold the family home she had lived in for decades and moved into a smaller space she could run independent. However, she soon learned something that many American seniors are unaware of until it happens to them. The mess of daily routines is not eliminated by the size of your house. Calvina was surrounded by fresh annoyances. Grocery coupons got mixed up with important correspondence. She wondered if she had taken her morning dose because of the numerous prescription bottles strewn all over the kitchen counter. She bought extra pairs of reading glasses because she lost them so frequently, but she never found them. She had less room to clean after downsizing. Yes, but that smaller place becomes equally overpowering without the proper systems. She vividly recalls one instance of being late for a doctor's appointment and frantically searching drawers for her insurance card. She knew then that it wasn't her house that was the issue. Her life after 60 was facilitated by the absence of routines. She no longer found the house to be functional. She was resisting it. At that point, she made a significant admission. There is more to clutter than meets the eye. Your time, energy, and tranquility are stolen by the unseen web of haphazard behaviors. This was the pivotal moment for Calvina. She didn't require a larger, or even more hygienic home. She needed mechanisms that were considerate of her life stage. Systems that may help her get through her everyday tasks, ease the burden of forgetting, and restore the self-assurance she enjoyed when everything went according to plan. Along the way, she discovered that living past 60 was less about chasing youth and more about creating a space that allowed her to be free. Have you ever experienced this feeling? Despite being downsized, decluttered, and possibly even having a boatload of stuff given, I still felt overburdened. That was Calvina's starting point. Her experience also demonstrates that it's the systems you live by, not square footage, that save you. The ready-to-go bag system is the first system. Calvina laughed when she first heard about the concept of a ready-to-go bag. I'm not preparing for a trip. I'm just living my life, she thought. She soon discovered, however, that this had little to do with travel. Its goal was to make daily tasks less stressful. Consider how many times you've been prepared to leave for a quick trip to the grocery store, a church event, or even a doctor's appointment, only to find yourself looking for the same things for 10, 15, or even 20 minutes. Your prescription list, your spectacles, your insurance card, or even a few bucks in cash. Those minutes mount up, and worse, they cause needless anxiety that no one over 60 should have to endure. The ready-to-go bag system is where everything changes. The concept is straightforward but effective. When you leave home, always have a compact backpack, handbag, or lightweight tote filled with the necessities. Insurance cards, reading glasses, a current medication list, emergency contact information, and a small amount of cash are typically required for those examined in the United States. A replacement mask, hand sanitizer, or even a granola bar might be included for certain people. This bag isn't meant for clutter or anything and everything. The one item you can reach for without hesitation and know you're safe is your lifeline bag. Calvina explained how she was saved by this system. She received a last-minute call from her doctor's office one afternoon, stating that if she could get there within 20 minutes, they could get her in sooner. Usually, she would be in a panic after such a rush, rummaging through drawers, checking her purse, and wondering where she had left her glasses. This time, however, she just grabbed her ready-to-go bag and left. She was composed, ready, and even found time to read a magazine in the waiting area. Here's the new realization. I felt like my home was working for me instead of holding me back. She mentioned this for the first time in years. This system preserves dignity in addition to time. Seniors in the U.S. are living longer, going to more doctor's appointments, and frequently managing several prescriptions. Frustration, delays, or even delayed care can result from each misplaced card or forgotten paper. You regain control with the ready-to-go bag. It lets your mind know that you don't have to remember all of this anymore. It will be carried for you by the system. Now consider this. How many times have you been anxious or late just because you were unable to locate the necessities? What if you were never under that kind of strain again? This first system's beauty lies in that. Less is not the point. It's about preparing yourself for more of the life you desire. Would a backpack like this be useful in your daily routine? Let us know in the comments. Please let me know what necessities you would include in yours. System 2. The tech check-in, which takes 5 minutes. Calvina liked to make a joke about how smart her phone was compared to her. It seemed to always die just when she needed it most, rang when she didn't want it to, and remained silent when she expected it to. She missed a video call one morning from her grandson, who had just moved to Texas to attend college. Why? Overnight, her phone had fallen behind the couch. By the time she found it, the moment had passed, and the battery was dead. I felt like I had let him down, she said privately. On that day, she developed what she now refers to as her 5-minute tech check-in, a quick and easy method that helps her stay connected rather than nervous. This is how it operates. She spends 5 minutes doing 3 quick tasks every morning before lunchtime. First, check the battery on her phone. She plugs it in immediately, rather than waiting for it to die if it is less than 40%. 2. Verify the location of her charger. To avoid rushing later, she checks sure chargers are in their proper locations. 1 in her ready-to-go bag, 1 in the living room, and 1 by her bed. 3. Verify critical notifications. She checks her phone for texts from family members, voicemails, drugstore alerts, and doctor's appointments. Nothing will fall between the cracks in this manner. Despite its small size, this system is a game changer for American seniors. To stay in touch with children and grandkids who live across the nation, older adults are using group messaging, digital banking, and telehealth appointments more than ever before. You risk missing a refill if you don't receive a text from your pharmacist. A crucial appointment may need to be rescheduled if a health portal notification is ignored. And we've all experienced the annoyance of arriving somewhere only to discover that you didn't receive the notification, that plans had altered. The 5-minute tech check-in has the advantage of making you more proactive rather than reactive. You're staying ahead of the game rather than waiting for your phone to malfunction. and that assurance is invaluable. Calvina claims that her anxiety around technology has subsided. She feels in charge of that tiny buzz in her pocket rather than fearing it. She chuckled, "It's like I'm the boss again." Consider it. You may buy hours of tranquility throughout the day with just 5 minutes each morning. No dead batteries, no missed calls, and no frantic cord hunting. Simply have faith that your digital lifeline will be available when you need it. I have a question for you now. Have you ever failed to see an alert in time or missed something crucial because your phone wasn't charged? You're not by yourself if so. It's likely that someone else watching has experienced the same thing, so share your tale in the comments. The third system is the no-stair storage configuration. Calvina assumed the stairs wouldn't be a problem when she moved into her smaller house. She had spent her entire life climbing stairs after all. However, she had to balance a laundry basket on her way down one morning. Her foot brushed the side of a step halfway. Although she didn't fall, she became aware of how close she had been to an event that may have permanently altered her life, and her heart began to accelerate. Her eyes were opened by that one instant. The danger wasn't limited to clutter. It was the arrangement of items in her home. Despite its simplicity, the no-step storage technique is frequently disregarded. You relocate all daily necessities to the main floor of your house, rather than keeping cleaning materials in the basement, snacks in the pantry upstairs, or daily prescription drugs on a nightstand 2 flights away. Consider what you aim for every day. Extra paper towels, cleaning sprays, laundry pods, snacks, prescription drugs, and pet food. You may significantly reduce the frequency of dangerous stair journeys by centralizing these goods on the floor you spend the most time on. Many elders in the United States are unaware of this fact. Senior living advisors claim that a significant portion of avoidable falls occur due to frequent needless stair use, lugging a grocery bag upstairs, bringing laundry downstairs, and retrieving medication that has been left on another floor rather than frailed. Unbalance is a possibility with every trip, particularly in situations where hands are full or lighting is limited. And beyond age 60, a fall is more than just a hassle. Hospital expenses, recuperation time, or even a permanent loss of freedom may result from it. Calvina chose to give this system a try. She put her most used products, light cleaning wipes, daily medications, her favorite tea, and an extra charger in a small storage cabinet in her living room. It was simple, yet it made a huge difference. No more tripping up and down all the time. Eliminate your fear of carrying objects upstairs. The emotional truth is this: it felt like my house suddenly respected my energy instead of stealing it. Laziness is not the goal of the no-stair storage solution. It's about protecting your independence and safety. The best part is that it just takes one day to set up, demonstrating that I value my life enough to design it smartly. I would like to know how many times a day you go up or down your stairs. Wonder how many of those might vanish if you just maintain the necessities close at hand. Sometimes the smallest system is the one that protects us from the greatest dangers, so please share your thoughts below. The silent alarm routine is the fourth system. It wasn't outside that Calvina experienced one of her scariest moments. It took place in the middle of the night inside her own house. She got out of bed, tried to find her way to the kitchen, and woke up thirsty. However, the corridor was completely dark. Her slipper grazed the leg of a tiny side table as she shuffled slowly, arms out in front of her. The shock almost knocked her down. As she stabilized herself and realized how close she had come to a serious fall, her heart hammered. She made a commitment to herself that evening that she would never again feel insecure in her own house because of darkness. At that point, she learned what she now refers to as the silent alarm routine. In a noisy sense, it's not an alarm. It's an automated night lighting system that silently activates at the precise moment and location you require it. Calvina made a soft path of light throughout her house with timed lamps, motion sensor lights, and smart plugs. As soon as she gets out of bed, a soft glow fills the corridor, the bathroom entrance, and even the kitchen. She is guided through the night by a silent safety net. There is no abrupt blindness or fumbling for switches. Here are some reasons why this system is so important to us elders. Poor lighting, not carelessness, is the main cause of nighttime falls. Our eyes require more light to adjust as we become older. Furthermore, even the slightest shadow might throw off our equilibrium. Every year, hospitals record the innumerable emergency room visits of elderly patients who fell at home while taking late-night bathroom or kitchen journeys. These mishaps may be avoided, and the solution is simple. Installing lights is a straightforward solution that eliminates the need for decision-making. Beyond safety, there is an emotional gain. According to Calvina, it's mental tranquility. She no longer fears waking up in the middle of the night. She isn't concerned about waking up unexpectedly or becoming disoriented in the dark. Rather, she walks with composure, her way illuminated without her having to do anything. "I feel like the house is watching out for me," she says. The silent alarm routine's brilliance lies in this. It remains undetectable until you need it, at which point it silently intervenes to keep you safe. It is simple to set up. Put motion lights or a few smart plugs in the areas of your home that you utilize the most at night. You may stop fretting and begin sleeping more easily once it's in place. When you are roaming about your house at night, have you ever come dangerously close? Imagine being free of that terror. If you had your own silent alarm system, which area of your home would you light up first? Let us know in the comments. The weekly Toss 10 game is system number 5. When Calvina thought about decluttering, she used to freeze. Before she started, she was exhausted by the thought of emptying her closets and laying out boxes on the floor of the living room. She had years' worth of possessions piled up, including receipts, tangled wires, broken pens, half-used notebooks, and out-of-date doctor's office brochures, like many older Americans. It was all of no real value, but she felt defeated by the sheer amount. Then she found an alternative method. She developed what she now refers to as the weekly Throw 10 game, rather than overcommitting herself to a huge undertaking. This is how it operates. Calvina selected Sunday afternoons after church once a week. She looks for just 10 tiny objects that she no longer needs and sets a timer for 10 to 15 minutes. It may be damaged pens that kept returning to the rubbish drawer, stretched out hair ties, an instruction manual for an appliance she no longer owned, or even expired coupons concealed in a kitchen drawer. She doesn't strive for excellence. She only engages in the reaching 10 game. That means she will have 10 less items of clutter to deal with by the end of the week. 40 items are gone stress-free by the end of the month. By the end of the year, more than 500 minor tasks had stopped taking up her time or attention. The momentum, not the quantity, is what gives this system its strength. Little victories boost self-esteem. Calvina claims that every time she throws 10, she feels lighter, more accomplished and inspired to keep going. She does not perceive a loss of control. She believes she is regaining it. Additionally, the weekly Toss 10 turns into a habit that gradually transforms your home without anyone noticing. Unlike massive, decluttering marathons that leave people exhausted and angry, this is where the emotional core of it lies. This system serves as a reminder that life simplification need not be difficult. It can be playful, gentle, and doable. You don't need to finish everything today. This week, you only need to complete 10 tasks. So, let me ask you a question. What's the strangest small item you've kept for years without noticing? It's likely that someone else is clinging to the same item, so share it in the comments. The rest of your trip may be inspired by that one tiny step. System 6. The day of the single call. Calvina once thought her life was governed by her phone. While preparing dinner, she would suddenly remember to arrange her mammogram. While folding laundry, she would consider calling the pharmacist, but then she would forget again. Then there were the countless little notes she left for herself on scraps of paper, sticky pads, and envelopes. Constant brain clutter was the outcome. She constantly had the feeling that something significant was falling between the cracks, and the shame was greater than the chore itself when she did forget a call. At that point, she developed what she refers to as the one-call-day system. She sets aside one day, Wednesday mornings, to make all the required calls at once rather than distributing them throughout the week. She crosses off the insurance company, the pharmacy, the doctor's office, and even the power company if necessary in that one concentrated hour. Then she puts her phone away, shuts her notebook, and spends the remainder of her week without the incessant reminder, I still need to call. Why does this work so well for us seniors? Because, rather than fewer calls, life after 60 frequently entails more. The list can seem never-ending, whether it's refills, service appointments, Medicare paperwork, or healthcare inquiries. Every day, the stress is maintained by spreading those calls. However, combining them into a single time block offers you something even more beneficial than a to-do list that has been cleared. It makes you feel at ease. Calvina puts it like this: for the first time, I feel in control of my life rather than it controlling me. By being aware that her call day is Wednesday, she doesn't worry about Fridays or Mondays anymore. She has established a rhythm that transforms disorder into order. This is the emotional reality. The one-call day helps you organize your energies as well as your tasks. It opens the door to more creative, relaxing, or joyful times throughout the week by telling your mind, you don't have to hold this anymore. I'll take care of it when the system says so. Let me ask you this. Which day would you pick to answer all of your calls? Simply stating it could be the first step to taking back your week, so leave it in the comments. The duplicate essentials rule is System 7. Calvina liked to make a joke about how crucial things were lost in her house. It was her glasses one week, her phone charger the next, and occasionally even her pill case would seem to disappear just when she needed it. The same cycle was started with each absence. Time lost, frustration, and, in the case of her meds, genuine anxiety. She is not by alone. According to studies, seniors in the U.S. spend hundreds of dollars annually just to replace glasses that are misplaced or lost. However, Calvina's pivotal moment occurred when she realized her reading glasses had slipped between the sofa cushions the night she needed them to check a medication container. She calmly opened a tiny box she had prepared and took out a backup pair rather than going into a panic. I felt like I had outsmarted my own forgetfulness for the first time, she added. That is the duplicate essentials rule's power. You designate a small container, such as a showbox, basket, drawer, or basket, to hold an additional set of necessities, prescription drugs, glasses, a pill spritter, extra batteries for hearing aids, and phone charger. This isn't about constantly buying or stockpiling. Investing in a second safety net is the key. The fact is that as these things disappear, it becomes more upsetting as we age. It's annoying to lose a phone charger at 30. It can be frightful to lose a phone charger at 70 if you depend on that phone for emergency calls, family updates, and TLL. Calvina found comfort in her duplicate box. She no longer expends emotional energy looking under furniture or going back where she came from. Rather, she is aware that her necessities are taken care of. Here's the emotional core of this straightforward system. It reduces stress, saves money, and above all, maintains confidence. This has nothing to do with planning for failure. It's about positioning yourself for achievement. When your independence is more important than ever, it gives you the invaluable comfort that I've got my own back. What would you put in your duplicate necessities box first if you could? Prescription drugs, glasses, or perhaps that elusive charger that never seems to stay? If your response gives someone else the idea they need, please share it in the comments. The Hobbs safety switch is System 8. One of Calvina's favorite activities has always been cooking. She enjoyed frying chicken the way her mother taught her to do, or preparing large pots of stew for her grandchildren. However, as the years passed, she began to see something unexpected. The appliances in her kitchen were silently against her. Her old cast-iron skillet slipped in her hand one evening as she was removing it from the stove. It weighed more than she recalled. For a moment, she thought the entire pan of boiling oil may tip onto her wrist because the handle was slippery with vapor. The scare persisted, even after she was able to stabilize it. And that's when I realized. This is where the Hobbs safety swap system comes in, as she stated. My cookware was becoming a risk instead of a tool. The concept is straightforward. You should swap out your everyday pots, pans, and utensils for safer, lighter, and easier-to-grip models. This is not an excuse to stop cooking or to lose the enjoyment of meal preparation. It entails modifying your kitchenware so that it serves you rather than endangers you. Consider non-stick cookware that weighs half as much, silicone handles that don't slip, or kettles with automatic shut-off mechanisms to avoid boiling dry. These minor adjustments have a significant impact on confidence and safety. What makes this so crucial? One of the main causes of burns and falls among the elderly in the United States is cooking accidents. Furthermore, negligence is not the cause of many of those mishaps. They use antiquated technology that isn't suitable for senior citizens. Routine cooking can become dangerous due to heavy pans, uncomfortable lids, dull knives, or even glass mixing bowls. You can lower risk before it occurs by creating a system of safer tools. Calvina didn't see switching her kitchenware as a sign of weakness. It has to do with wisdom. She came to see that designing a kitchen that fits her body today is more important for freedom in the kitchen than clinging to the same tools she used when she was 30. Now that she knows every equipment she reaches for is safe to use, she goes about her cooking routine with ease. Additionally, the emotional payoff is potent. She no longer fears mishaps that would land her in the hospital. Rather, she concentrates on the delight of preparing meals for her loved one. So let me share a concept with you. Which one of your everyday cooking tools feels riskier, heavier, or harder than it used to? Since naming it could be the first step to your own Hobbs safety swap, please share it in the comments section. The Quiet Hour Reset is System 9. For 4 years, Calvina believed that rest entailed watching TV while the evening news hummed in the background. However, she came to the realization that her sleep never truly left her feeling refreshed after a particularly trying morning that was full of back-to-back calls and countless little tasks. Even as she sat, she felt exhausted from the cacophony which kept her mind running. She stumbled into what she now refers to as her quiet hour reset at that point, a planned pause in the day intended for rejuvenation rather than distraction. The silent hour reset is just that. 1 hour every day without using a phone, TV, or doing any tasks. Rather, the emphasis is on soft tranquility. Calvina makes a glass of water, turns down the lights, and selects a calming pastime. Stretching lightly, reading a devotional, enjoying some soothing background music, or simply relaxing at the window and taking in the swaying trees. Productivity isn't the point. Allowing her neurological system to breathe is the goal. Why is this so important? Research conducted in the U.S. is demonstrating that organized quiet time benefits senior citizens in quantifiable ways. Seniors who intentionally incorporate calm into their daily lives frequently experience better sleep, lower blood pressure, and fewer stress chemicals. Furthermore, it establishes a mental anchor, a moment that you own but that the day has no control over. This type of regularity serves as a buffer against burnout after the age of 60, when unexpected medical appointments, phone calls, and family obligations might pile up. Within weeks, Calvina could see the difference. She added, "I didn't realize how much noise I was living with. My body praised me when I allowed myself to stop." She was happier, more patient, and more focused in the hours that followed the silent hour reset. Doing nothing wasn't the point. It was about taking a very deliberate action for her welfare. The emotional truth is as follows. You are reminded by this system that your peace is important. It's not a luxury. It is necessary. Maintaining your inner peace is as important to preserving your independence as taking medicine or eating a balanced diet. Let me ask you this. What would you do given a single peaceful hour of your day? Your suggestion might motivate another senior who is in dire need of a reset. So please, share it in the comments below. The legacy drawer. System temporary. Calvina put off handling her critical documents for a long time. She felt as like she was confessing to a fate she didn't want to face as she considered organizing her will, medical directives, and account detail. Rather, the documents resided in various parts of the house. Others in drawers she hardly opened, others hidden in envelopes, and some tucked away in a filing cabinet. Every so often, the thought would creep in. What if something happened tomorrow? Would my daughter know where to look? Would she have the passwords? Would she even know which bank to call? That quiet worry followed her for years until she created what she now calls her legacy drawer. The legacy drawer is a simple but powerful system. One drawer, one location, where all the most important documents and instructions live. Inside hers, Calvina placed her will, medical power of attorney, list of medications, life insurance papers, bank information, and a small notebook of passwords. She even wrote down instructions about what to do with her family photographs and her church donation commitments. Nothing fancy, just one safe place that held the map of her life. Why does this matter so much for seniors in the U.S.? Because the burden of unpreparedness doesn't just fall on you, it falls on your loved ones. When paperwork is scattered, when passwords are lost, when no one knows what you wanted, it creates chaos at a time when your family should be supported, not stressed. And for you, carrying the constant what if in the back of your mind only adds invisible weight to your daily life. When Calvina finished setting up her legacy drawer, she described something remarkable. For the first time in years, I slept peacefully. I knew I had given my family a gift. Clarity, not confusion. That sense of relief became part of her daily freedom. The drawer wasn't morbid. It was liberating. And here's the heart of it. Creating a legacy drawer is an act of love. It's saying, I don't want to leave behind questions. I want to leave behind answers. So, let me ask you, if your loved ones opened a drawer tomorrow, would they find what they need, or would they be left searching? Share your thoughts in the comments, because sometimes the most loving system we can build is the one that speaks for us when we no longer can. When Calvina looks around her home today, it feels entirely different than it did just a few years ago. Back then, even in her smaller house, she felt weighed down by routines that didn't serve her. Stairs became a hazard. Clutter chipped away at her peace of mind. And everyday tasks, like cooking or getting ready for appointments, felt like battles she was always losing. But once she began building her system step by step, something powerful happened. Her home stopped draining her energy and started supporting her life. Now, when she heads to an appointment, her ready-to-go bag is waiting by the door. When her phone buzzes, she's confident her battery is charged and her alerts are checked. Her essentials are on the main level. Her night path glows softly when she gets up, and her duplicate box is always ready to back her up. She doesn't waste hours chasing papers, misplacing glasses, or worrying about what she forgot. Instead, her days flow smoothly, giving her more energy to enjoy walks, visits with friends, and afternoons reading by the window. Calvina says the biggest change isn't just in her routines. It's in her spirit. I feel lighter, calmer, and more in control than I did in years. It's like I finally stopped fighting against my own home. And that's the real heart of this journey. Simplicity isn't about stripping everything away. It's not about living with less for the sake of less. Simplicity is about designing systems that give you more life in every single day. Imagine what your days could feel like if your home worked with you instead of against you. What if you never had to panic about lost glasses, missed calls, or risky stair trips again? What if your evenings ended in calm, your nights felt safe, and your mornings began with ease? These aren't small wins. They're the building blocks of freedom and dignity after 60. So, here's my encouragement. Don't just watch this. Choose one system and put it into place this week. Let yourself feel that small relief and let it grow into something bigger. And if even one of these systems sparked an idea for you, hit that like button, share this video with a friend over 60 in America, and subscribe because your next chapter deserves to be easier, safer, and beautifully yours.